That's gross.
Don't say shit for attention. It's not cute.
Good start.
Yeah. Welcome back to the podcast for the first time since I think Christmas. The host of my personal favorite podcast, and a podcast that I think has honestly gotten better and better in recent months. Kevin from Why Do I Podcast. Kevin, how hilariously are you doing today?
I'm doing so hilariously well. Thank you, Hughezy, for having me back on your show, my friend. One that I thoroughly enjoy and love being a guest on.
Yeah, and how hilarious was that intro? I called you Kevin. Yeah. And Why Do I Podcast? That's hilarious, right?
So, Stuttering John had Tony Michaels on his show, and Tony came up with a really good nickname for me.
Yeah. It's fucking hilarious when you think about it, because A, your name's actually Karl, and Kevin begins with the same letter that Karl is spelled with.
So I actually tell you a theory that I saw about this is that Tony went back and listened to the original time we made fun of Stuttering John years ago when Kevin was my co-host. And that's why he was calling me Kevin, because there was a guy named Kevin on that show. And I think that's why he mistaken me for Kevin. I don't even think it was supposed to be a joke. Either way, it doesn't matter.
But then adding to the comedy,
yeah,
Why Do I Podcast? That's pretty funny, because your podcast is called Who Are These Podcasts?
Who are these podcasts? Not Why Do I Podcast?
Yeah,
right.
But Why Do I Podcast would be like an insult. Like, imagine if your podcast was called that. That's really good content.
Yeah, people would be like, "Yeah, why does this guy podcast?"
It's fucking funny. That guy.
When I first heard him say, "Yeah, it's Kevin from Why Do I Podcast," I was like,
"No, dude, no fucking way!"
It's good. But speaking of great moods, I'm in a very great mood today. Just high off seeing Top Gun 2. It's unbelievable. It's 5
got a lot of hype. It lives up to the hype.
5 gigas out of 5. That's how it's basically, it's almost as good as One Too Many.
Okay, well, that's high praise.
That's high praise.
Too Many is a smash hit.
But speaking of One Too Many, Kevin,
still funny.
That was the star of that was a young man called John Melendez. Very funny and very successful man in life. He looks great. Since we last spoke at Christmas time, the friendship between you and Stuttering John has really gone in a fucking insane level that I honestly thought was fake when I heard about it on WATP. So for those that haven't heard, can you sum up what's been going on between yourself and Stuttering John since Jesus' birthday?
Yeah, I'd love to. So actually, right after we do this show, Hughezy's going to be a guest on my bonus show. Who Are These Podcasts? We have Patreon and Supercast only show. We'll be going through John's recent tirade over this past weekend about how successful he's been with his DMCA strikes against me, having content of mine taken down off of Patreon. And John has been really walking that fine line between he doesn't care that we goof on him, but he also wants to take me to court and ruin my life. So he's kind of like trying to figure out where to navigate in between those two pieces. And it's fun because he says at 1 second, you can goof on me. I don't care. That's fine. And then at the second he goes, but he makes $8,000 a month on his Patreon, and I will get that taken down because 5 strikes and they will take your Patreon down.
Yeah, it really is like the childish guy who just broke up with a girl who's like, I don't care, I'm over it, but she's a fucking whore, and it's never going to work out between her and Zach.
Yeah, so I'm Zach. I'm the guy now dating his ex. And he's going, I don't even care about Zach. I don't even give a shit about him. What a loser he is. He lives in Rochester. What a loser. Oh, his friends Croge and Trucker Andy. I don't even want to know about this guy. I don't know anything about him. He's such a loser. I don't care how much his house is worth, even though I know exactly how much his house is worth. What an idiot. I don't even care.
Yeah, he can fuck her right in the and I wouldn't give a shit. He's not as funny or hilarious as me.
He's a nobody.
Yeah. She can take his bats all he wants. I don't care.
Basically, what Stuttering John is trying to say is,
who gives a shit? Who gives a fuck?
He doesn't care.
But I think that the WATP thing has got to him so badly that he can't enjoy anything, because I think that if just say he does an interview on, I don't know, Joe Rogan, he's going to be thinking they're going to be listening in and taking my copyright of my Joe Rogan appearance.
You know, you say that, Hughezy, and I would agree with you because that would be on my mind a little bit. But instead, John goes on MSCS Media for 3 or 4 times, and every time gets so drunk that it's now become the wallpaper on the Dabblers Anonymous subreddit, because the guy can't help himself. It's like, dude, behave yourself while you're on the internet doing video shows, and we won't goof on you as much. There won't be as much to goof on you about, but he can't. He can't get out of his own way.
Yeah, but and the other thing is, it's like a lot less people would goof on him and make fun of him if he wasn't such a dick to so many people. And it's not just like we're picking on people, but it's like what's that whole thing that the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So many people don't like him that they tend to cross pollinate, and that's why I fucked Chrissy Mayer.
Well, hey, you got to take one for the team, right?
Oh, and she took one right in the batch. Right in the batch catcher.
The batch catcher. Okay, I like that. Yeah, John is an unlikable person on every level. And every time you start to feel bad for him because you're like, all right, we're starting to pile on him a little bit too much, he does something really shitty and reminds us all he's a piece of shit human being who deserves the worst in life. So that's always makes it a little bit more fun for everybody.
And of course, because I mentioned Top Gun 2, can I do my Norm Macdonald? I'll do a Stuttering John joke in the voice of Norm Macdonald just to set the hilarious tone.
Okay, great. Yep.
I have an idea for a Top Gun sequel. Top Gun 3.
It's pretty good.
The next question I've got to ask you about is...
hey, since we're doing impressions, can I do... I don't normally do impressions, but I have one that I want to try out on your show. It's an exclusive.
Oh, nice.
You, Hughezy. All right. Now, back in 1993, Jay Leno took over for Johnny Carson on The Tonight Show. What if, instead of that, it was actually Mike Tyson, heavyweight champion of the world, Mike Tyson? What if he had taken over for Johnny Carson? I think it would sound a little something like this. Hey, did you guys see this? Did you guys see this in the news, huh? True story. Did you guys see this? Thank you very much. Thank you. All right, as you were saying.
Here's Jay Leno dropping the N-word. Hey, Mike Tyson, he's a nice guy.
All right, now you go.
Yeah, yeah, well, over the cliff, yeah.
Yeah, keep going.